Hailing from the Jersey Shore and raised as athletes, the Airey Bros have always shared a passion for physical culture, athletic performance, and human optimization, always striving to be the strongest versions of themselves, mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. Along the way, they've met some pretty amazing humans and have had some pretty epic adventures. The intention of Airey Bros Radio is to showcase these amazing people and the impact that they've had on them, and to share tips, tricks, and hacks so that you can win each day, every day.
Do you like organic fair trade coffee? Do you appreciate a well-made pour-over, but just don't have time for all the rigmarole of setup, cleanup, and brew time? Reach for Mount Hagen Coffee. When you want that artisanal flavor, but don't have time for all the bullshit. Mount Hagen Coffee, brought to you by Airey Bros Radio.
Whether on top of a 14er or the Airey Bros need a pick-me-up after the daily challenge, Airey Bros reach for Honey Bunches. Honey Bunches, the peanut pecan honey bar with over 42% of pure honey in each and every bar. Honey Bunches is gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free. Honey Bunches is family-owned and operated here in the great state of Colorado since 2013. Go to honeybunches.com and use the promo code ABR1512 for a 10% discount on the boys of 1512. Once again, that is promo code ABR1512 at honeybunches.com.
I don't know why, but I always think like when I have a connection like that, it's like we're meant to be here right now and like meeting each other and right place, right time kind of thing. It's just really cool. I feel like when I'm meditating, I get like this inspiration that comes to me that is not really from me, you know what I mean? and that's such a dangerous place to live. Only placing like any sort of value for your life on like your acting jobs when they're so few and far between, especially with me since I had to take major breaks off. I started with mindfulness in my certification, and then we went to loving kindness. I had never done it at this point. That was a couple years ago. I never heard of loving kindness actually, and I was like, oh, this is it. I hate it because it like sucks. And like I never want to do it, but I do because it's like I want to heal, and I want to break through and have those breakthrough moments that are so powerful. I've really been able to like sort of just sit with it and allow it to be here. My process is a part of being a human being. Everything belongs and it's okay. Denver people are magic. Like I didn't want to leave. I like cried when I left. This is Amy Rutledge, and you are listening to Airey Brothers Radio.
What's up, y'all? This is Airey Bros Radio, and this is episode 75 with Amy Rutledge. You ready, Prince?
You kidding me, Richie Rich? We just had the star from the movie Rent-A-Pal, a meditation teacher, on the podcast who's a Jersey native. You bet your ass I'm ready to give this to the fans of Airey Bros Radio.
Yo, not only is she a Jersey native, not only is she a meditation teacher, not only is she an actor, but she calls it pork roll. This is a great conversation we had with Amy. She came on to talk about her new film that is out. And then also we get in deep into meditation, affirmations, synchronicities, manifestations, all that good woo-woo stuff that, you know, the Airey Bros love. Amy comes correct, and she brings the heat when it comes to these topics. So it was an awesome conversation, and we're grateful to have her time, but also bring this episode to y'all.
Yeah, like Richie said, if you're a fan of Airey Bros Radio and you like what we're dishing out every week, you're going to love this one because we get a little bit of everything that we're into in this podcast. So make sure you rate, you review, subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts, and make sure you go to IFC, go to YouTube, go to Amazon Prime, and watch Rent-A-Pal. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode of Airey Bros Radio.
Much love. Namaste. From the boys of 1512.
So how I found you and how I found Rent-A-Pal was I am a film student at the University of Colorado, Denver, and they posted that there were some people that were alumni that worked on that film, and I dived into it to see if we could, talk to anyone or whatever. So I was on IFC, and I got contacted that with your information. That being said, what was it like for you to be an actress and to, have a movie that's on IFC right now?
It's just so exciting. I can't even, it's like surreal, because it's just something I've been working at for a really long time. And to have IFC acquire it was so huge for me. And I it's like a very notable name. And I'm in Jersey City right now. And so New York City, they have the IFC theaters, of course. So for me, that was huge. And I was so, just so grateful, and I'm just so honored. And I just feel so, I don't know, it's amazing. It's all I can say. I'm like kind of at a loss for words just because I'm so overwhelmed with joy. And I got to see myself in the drive-in theater, which has been my childhood dream. And it's like I achieved this like childhood dream that I've wanted since I was like so young. So it's just really wild.
Are you a Jersey girl?
Yeah.
Through and through?
Yeah.
Jersey City, born and raised, or
Yeah.
where?
No, so I'm actually visiting my family right now. I'm in Northwest New Jersey, up in Warren County, heading towards Pennsylvania. But I lived in Jersey City for almost 18 years. So.
Okay. Jimmy and I are from Point Pleasant.
I heard. I mean, I saw.
Okay.
I was excited, and I even just told my mom, I'm like, they're in Colorado, in Denver. She's like, oh, cool. And she's like, they're probably so excited, like to talk to a fellow like Denver, film crew, filmmaker. And I was like, no, but they're from New Jersey. And she's like, oh, that's awesome. So Point Pleasant, I grew up. Is that Jenkins?
Yep.
Jenkinson's.
Yeah. So I've been there a couple of times when I was younger.
Right on. Where'd you go to high school?
Warren Hills.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
Justin Calaluz. That's who beat Pellegrino in the state finals.
Oh my God, that's so funny. You know him. That's one of my best friends in high school married him actually, and they have kids, and they live right down the street. So.
That is hilarious.
Yeah. Were you a wrestler?
Yeah, we were both wrestlers, and a gentleman who's a little bit older than me wrestled him in the state finals.
From our high school.
Okay. Wait, what high school did you guys go to?
Point Borough.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so funny. What a small world.
Yeah. That's the beauty of these connections, is you always can connect some way or another, but when you have Jersey people, and I always say the older you get, the smaller the world gets. So it's cool to make those connections.
Yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely. And I always feel like that's such synchronicity. Like, I don't know why, but I always think like when I have a connection like that, it's like we're meant to be here right now and like meeting each other and right place, right time kind of thing. It's just really cool.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I think I have it. I don't know if you can see it. I have it written down on, I can't see it, but on the whiteboard it says, I meet those that need me most. I meet those that need me most.
Oh, I love that. I meet those who need me most.
I meet those that need me most. I meet those that I need most.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That just touched my heart so hard. You'll have to send me that quote again so I can like write it in my room or something. That's beautiful.
Yeah, there's a gentleman who he's a fitness guru. I hate using that term, but it's one of his daily affirmations. And so Jimmy and I both subscribe to him as kind of like our Mount Rushmore of health and wellness. And so I have some of his stuff on the refrigerator, and this one I wrote when we were podcasting with him. So
that's really cool. Yeah, thanks for that. That's going to be my new mantra in the morning.
There you go.
So you spoke on the synchronicity, and I heard in a interview I was listening before this one that you were thinking about coming out to Colorado before you shot this movie, and then you put it into words, and next thing you know, you saw this part was open. So were you a big believer in stuff happens for a reason, and you knew, all right, it's time to go to Colorado for this part?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a big believer in that. I've been through so much in my life, and like I can look back and just see how things have just happened, and it's all worked out so wonderfully, better than I could have even imagined. And so I was away at a film festival, and my director for the pilot that we were showcasing at this festival, she was from Colorado, and we were talking about Denver, we were talking about Boulder, and I was like, I've always wanted to go there. And then literally like not like an hour or maybe 2 hours had gone by where I went back to my hotel and I had an audition request, and it said being filmed in Denver, Colorado. So I was like, I knew it was meant to be, and I almost knew like, okay, like I think I'm gonna get this role, because we were just talking about like what are the odds, you know? So absolutely, and a lot of that happened. I'm sure you listened to the interview, and I talked about it a lot, that there were so many synchronicities that had happened throughout the entire filming of this film. So I'm a definite believer. Like now looking back too, especially, like I can see where everything was like perfectly orchestrated, and I just think there's something really to that, and it makes me really happy.
Has that always been kind of who you are? Like, have you always tapped in and been aware of the signs from the universe, or is that, you know, something that has come with experience? Is something that as athletes we weren't necessarily, you know, spiritual or woo woo. We're recovering Catholics, and have later in our lives, you know, started to tap into that sort of stuff and be more spiritual, and realize that there's a separation between spirituality and religion, and you can be spiritual and have a higher power. And um, then then we've started to see some of the signs from the universe, whereas before you're kind of oblivious to them.
Yeah, I think when I was growing up, I mean, I would pray a lot. So I grew up Roman Catholic, and I would go to church a lot just because like my parents made me. And but I knew there was some power in prayer, because there was things I would pray for that would happen. And so even when I was younger, like even in high school, I was like, wow, there really is something magical about this. But then I sort of I had like this dark period of my life where I was really sick for a long time, and like I was just going through a really, really challenging period, and it was like a whole decade. And at that point, like forget it. I didn't believe in anything. I was like, you know, I was just so down. And but I think coming out of that, then I was able to reconnect with spirituality. And then doing the meditations and doing, you know, self-love practices, and, you know, really working on forgiving myself for a lot of things in my life. I noticed that that world started really opening up for me, and I really could see evidence of, you know, the things actually happening and signs. And, you know, I've read a lot of books on it, and I've studied a bit on the law of attraction. And I mean, there really is something to that. Like I totally fully believe in it. But I think I've only reached this point just because I was in such a dark period of my life. I was able to really like, you know, I had like a like expanding kind of thing happen, or I don't even know what the word is, um, like an awakening, I guess you would say,
Just gonna say that.
lack of a better word. But yeah, it was through like that pain and suffering that I was able to kind of like um, be open to that kind of thing.
And during that time, were you an actress at that time, or is this something that came after that?
I was acting in my early 20s. I had left I'd gone to Jersey City to act, and I was doing independent films and stuff, and on and off. So I was acting on and off, like sprinkle it in between this like dark period of my life. But there was times where I also had to take major breaks and take a step back, because I was like bedridden, or, you know, I was on a lot of medicine, and I couldn't, you know, I couldn't do anything. I couldn't like even lift my head off the pillow. So it was really heartbreaking for me, because, you know, I'd feel like I was like really on a roll, and I'd be like booking a lot of jobs, and I was doing it all while I was sick. So it was very difficult. I mean, being in this industry is already difficult, but like add on like a debilitating disease and like depression is just like, it's just madness. So I had to take a lot of breaks. But I mean, luckily I'm healed now, so I'm a lot better. And so now I'm like kind of just ready to ready to soar.
Do you feel the meditation helps with parts and getting ready to put yourself in that headspace?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like when I'm meditating, I get like this inspiration that comes to me that is not really from me. You know what I mean? And it's pretty, it's pretty awesome. When I sit down and meditate, I'm able to quiet my head. I'm able to quiet, my ego mind, and I'm able to, really get rid of like any limiting beliefs that I had. And so I'm able to move forward in a more freeing, more like open state, where I can receive inspiration, and that's helped me in acting like tremendously. It's been like a saving grace for me, actually, because I used to be so caught up in like wanting other people's approval and like placing my value, on like the acting roles that I was doing, or like if I would win an award, or and like it was never good enough. And that's such a dangerous place to live, only placing like any sort of value for your life on like your acting jobs when they're so few and far between, especially with me, since I had to take major breaks off. But when I started meditating, I realized that I could find joy, just in being in it present in my daily life, and enjoying like the seemingly insignificant, small joys of life, and taking time to really appreciate people around me and my family. And even just like right now I'm in the woods, so like just being able to walk down the street and not see any people and just be surrounded by woods and nature and wildlife is like, it's just amazing. And like I didn't appreciate any of that kind of stuff growing up, so it's really helped me to change my perspective, truly, and also to really like uproot any sort of, you know, like self-sabotage kind of ego, like limiting beliefs that I had about myself and my own self-worth and value. So it's really helped me heal in so many ways. And, it's helped my life in like literally every way, not even just with the acting. Because it's like, I'm not so caught up in like, if I don't get the role, it's okay. It wasn't meant for me. When before it would just like, it would like kill me, and that's very unhealthy, way to be. So I think meditation really just alleviated all of that kind of noise, and it was really freeing for me in so many ways. I healed physically, I healed emotionally, and without all that dragging me down, I feel like I can come after a role or a project, just completely being free, and open to receiving like inspiration, and open to creating with other people without being bogged down by like all that extra crap.
Was the meditation something that was recommended to you, or did you come to it on your own?
Yeah, it was recommended to me. I was always, it was always in the back of my mind. I grew up next to a Tibetan learning center, and there was a temple, that you could go and meditate in. And I would go in there every once in a while, but I would never meditate, but I would pray. But for me now, they're kind of like the same thing. And then I kind of lost track of doing that. But then when I was really sick and I was going through treatments, someone recommended to do the Deepak Chopra 21-day meditation challenge. And so it's this 21-day portal that they release for free every so often. They'll release it, and it was Deepak Chopra and Oprah, and that was really easy and accessible for me. And they used they used the use of mantras. So it was easier for me to quiet my mind, like repeating these mantras over and over in my head. And so that was how I really got started. But then I realized like how it was really making me feel better. And then so I really started to get into it. And I started using affirmations. The same friend actually that told me to do that, she told me to look into Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life book. And she also talks about the power of meditation and how you can heal from like basically everything and anything. And she also, I learned the use of affirmations, and also like doing mirror work. So you like look at yourself in the mirror and you tell yourself you love yourself, and that you forgive yourself, and that you accept yourself as you are, exactly how you are. And that was the first time I really ever did anything like that for myself. And I realized like it really started to change my inner world, and then that changed my outer world as well.
And so, what was I going to say? I mean, how from that 21 day to doing the mantras, how does your practice look today? Is it similar? Has it evolved?
Yeah, I think so. I've went through a lot of different evolutions, I guess, because I've realized, and then I got my certification in mindfulness and loving kindness practices, which are Tibetan Buddhism. But I noticed in my life, because I also suffer from PTSD, that like there was certain days where mindfulness wasn't like, I needed more like mindfulness. I'm already mindful in my day-to-day life, but like if you're having like a PTSD, panic attack, it's kind of hard to be mindful when, you know what I mean? You're feeling your nervous system, your fight or flight is just like on full alert. So I started to incorporate creative visualizations as well. So I was actually going to do EMDR, which is a type of trauma therapy. And my therapist, actually, this is how I learned about it. After you're processing the trauma at the end to sort of like bring you back down and to calm your nervous system, she guides you into a creative visualization where it's like a safe space or like a calm space. So you are really like taking in, noticing what you smell, see, hear. And it's really fascinating because it actually calms your nervous system. Subconscious mind doesn't know whether it's real or vividly imagined. So I was like fascinated by this. I'm like, if that could take me from 10 to like a 0, then this could help anyone. So I started teaching creative visualizations. I also do that on my own, and then I also started doing the kind of like the law of attraction kind of creative visualizations as well, and doing that for my career. So you can use that same sort of technique where you visualize having already received something that you really want or achieving your dream or your goal. You kind of imagine like what it would be like in 1 year from now that you're already living your dream, and like what are you wearing, what can you smell, what can you taste. And that also was a game changer for me too. Like that made me feel so good in the moment. But it also gave me the confidence into really going after my dream. So like there's a lot of different techniques and practices that I pull from on any given day that I'll use all of them or maybe one, or it just kind of depends. But I've noticed that it's important to kind of I tell this a lot to my students. Like sometimes people will try mindfulness and they're like, like this doesn't really, of course you got to do it every day. But there's so many different practices and traditions from all around the world. So like always be on the lookout, of what would like resonate with you at any given time, like during the day. And it's okay to have like this whole little toolbox of different kinds of meditations to pull from when you need it.
Yeah, totally. I think too many people get lost in the, sitting in lotus pose for 15, 20, 30 minutes a day and think that that's the only way that
Yeah.
you can meditate, or the only time is in this early morning or before bed. And it's like you said, like we joke about it where sometimes the Jersey comes out in traffic and you're cursing at someone, and then I'll look over at him and I'll just say, may you be happy, may you be healthy, may you live in peace, and we'll both kind of have a laugh about it. But in joking with that, I am doing it in seriousness too, to kind of like you said, go from that 10 down to that 0 where that car's gone and up the road, and they probably didn't even realize anything happened, and you're still stewing in it, and that's ruining your day. So like let's center that self, bring it back down to 0, and go back into a peaceful mindset and go about your day.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I love that because I do the same thing. Like I don't really drive in Jersey City, but like I tell you, I've been borrowing my sister's car, and I'm like, it's like instant rage. I'm like, where is this coming from? Like I haven't even been behind the wheel in forever, but it's like this just thing turns on, and I guess that's like a Jersey thing. But I do the same thing now too. That may we all be happy, even like if we're sitting in traffic and I'm like pissed off. I'm like, okay, let's take a breath. May we all be happy, like everyone on this road. And it just really brings you down. It makes you feel so much more compassionate towards other people, and then that makes you feel better, in your own being, to wish other people well. So Yeah, I love loving kindness.
It's my jam.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I loved even more when we started with mindfulness in my certification, and then we went to loving kindness. I had never done it at this point. That was a couple years ago. I never heard of loving kindness actually, and I was like, oh, this is it. Like I was like in tears. Like it just made me feel so open and compassionate. And I only taught that for a period of time. I was only teaching love and kindness because like this is just so beautiful. And they're doing a lot of research on it now too, and they're actually finding that, I'm sure you know this already, but they're finding that it's more beneficial to do loving kindness than even mindfulness practice.
Yeah, and I think, we had Roger Steffens on, who is a reggae historian, and we said the world would be a better place right now if we all just put Bob Marley on a loop. And I think if we threw in the loving kindness in there, meta in there every day for people, our current climate might be a lot different.
Absolutely. I was just saying the same exact thing yesterday. I met with a fellow meditation teacher. I'm like, can you imagine if every single person meditated? Like we would like heal the world. Like it would just be a beautiful place. That's my mission though. I'm trying. I'm like pushing, and I'm getting into different libraries, and I'm getting into different communities. So
Well, you hear it a lot too, more frequently now, that it's almost like we're in a war of consciousness, and they're trying to suppress those sorts of things. And I also just think some people just, it's not on their radar at all.
Mhm.
They've got family, kids, soccer practice, meetings, that are, all these different things. It's just go, 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 and people aren't even aware of loving kindness.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but I will say that I do see that a shift, which makes me really happy and hopeful. I'm sure you do too, but I've noticed like people are, especially when the pandemic hit, I had people contacting me left and right, and they're like, can you please teach, our community, and I was just like teaching people left and right via Zoom. And it was a lot of people that had never meditated before, but they're like, we need something right now. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like that made me so happy that people were really open to it, and that there was a lot more people than normal that were like ready and open to it, just because everyone was suffering so much. I
Yeah.
think you hit a certain point where you're like, okay, we got to do something.
Find the others.
Mhm.
We dabble and have had quite a few different people that are psychedelic in the psychedelic world, and that's kind of the common thing of the psychedelic community, is finding the others and connecting. And that's sort of the same thing with spirituality and meditation, and just connecting with those like-minded people, and then as a united front going out into the world to spread the message.
Yeah, yeah, that's amazing. I actually just started researching the psychedelics, and I actually started doing breath work. I don't know if you guys have ever done like an hour breath work ceremony.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's wild.
Yeah.
Did you
So
do
I'm
one
like,
in New
I'll do
Jersey?
that. What did you say?
Did you do a breathwork workshop in New Jersey?
No, so I
No.
actually did it on Zoom, and
Okay.
like I didn't know that was something you should probably have a facilitator, like to make sure you're kind of okay. But the first one I did was via Zoom. I just randomly saw this like ad, and it was for a shamanic hour-long breathwork ceremony, and it said it helped heal, with trauma. And I was like, all right, I'm in. So I just signed up, and then we did it on Zoom, and he kind of told me like what might happen. And but an hour long is a long time to do it for your first time, and I was like kind of freaking out because I've got like
Tetany?
yeah, and my I was completely numb, my entire body. I was like paralyzed, and I was like, oh my god, like I don't even know how to get out of this right now safely. So I just had to like keep doing it. But then I had this incredible like visual like awakening that was so powerful and so healing for me. So I was like, holy shit, like there's something really powerful to this. And so I started doing it. I did it a couple more times. I did a couple half-hour ones, and they were all through Zoom. And now I'm like a champ. So I don't mind, it's not the holotropic, which I think you have to have someone like next to you or facilitating you like in person. It's like neurodynamic breath work, they call it, was the other one that I do. Michael Stone, I think his name is.
Is that
And they have one like every.
Through, you breathing through your mouth or through your nose or both?
Okay, so with the shamanic one and Michael Stone, you breathe through, oh shoot, hang on, let me think. Your mouth. And you don't have a pause in between the inhale and exhale. Yeah.
Is it more intense inhale than exhale?
He just says to keep it like circular,
Cyclical,
like just keep it going. Yeah. I've done ones through the nose too, but I found the hour-long ones were the most healing for me. Like I've had crazy trips on doing the one with Michael Stone for an hour, same breath, but I saw things that I was like blown away. So I hate it because it like sucks. And like I never want to do it, but I do because it's like I want to heal, and I want to break through and have those breakthrough moments that are so powerful. But I'm always like, like I don't want to do this right now. It hurts. Not every time, but
sounds a lot like ayahuasca.
Yeah. Well, so I'm like, okay, because I wanted to do that, but I'm like, I'll just stick with the breath work for now, and ease my way into like the psychedelics or the ayahuasca maybe some other time. But do you guys do breath work a lot?
He probably does it more than me, but yeah.
Yeah, I try to get at least when I do it on my walks, just because I breathe pretty hard when I do it, but I try to do some Wim Hof at least for like 20 minutes a day. And, with my meditation, if I'm feeling good, I'll add some Breath of Fire or something in there. If I'm not, clear headed, I feel with the breath work like that's the easiest way to kind of just change it real quick if I'm having a tough day.
Yeah, absolutely.
And kind of same path as had some trauma and stuff growing up, and always trying to do the right thing to cope with that. And I know for me that there's been days where doing my meditation, doing my my gratitudes, all that, but it's still not like trauma is just seeping out, and I can't control it. And I know you mentioned something like that too. What do you do on those days where you feel like you're doing the right things to help your recovery and stuff like that, but it's just you're on that hamster wheel and you just can't get off of it?
Yeah, I've learned to really, and I know it's gonna sound like so like cliche and stupid, but I've really been able to like sort of just sit with it and allow it to be here. And like people would say that to me all the time. I'm like, oh, shut up, like that's so dumb, like that's not helpful at all. But like it really, like the resistance is what causes even more suffering. So I used to be really bad. Like I used to punch walls. I would just like freak out on people, and especially after doing the EMDR sessions, they bring a lot of stuff up, and it's extremely painful sometimes and really difficult, especially the aftermath. So like going home and like having all this like rage and emotions that are just like all of a sudden all coming up, and I'm like, punching a wall to kind of like just survive, or but now I'm able to really just kind of that helped me a lot. So I don't know if you want to research that or try that, but and it is hard, but it's helped me heal more than anything. So that's called EMDR. And now since I've been doing that, I've been doing EMDR for like a year, more than a year, and I go every week. But I think now, because I'm like sort of healing from that, I'm able to really just like, okay, I feel like shit today. Okay, like I feel like I want to punch someone today, or it's like allowing me to feel exactly how I want to feel, and that it's okay. Like that it's okay that I feel this way, and it's part of my process is a part of being a human being. Everything belongs and it's okay. So I kind of just have to like self-soothe, I guess, in that way. And if I need to cry, I'm like, okay, I'm going to cry. And then I know I'm going to feel better, instead of being like, oh, why am I like this? Because I would do that all the time. I would just resist, and I would, you like distract yourself, but like you're still carrying all that pain with you. So just like stopping everything, sitting there and being like, okay, I'm going to feel like this right now and it's going to pass. It might take a couple days even, but it's going to pass. And kind of allowing it to be okay. And I know that sounds like probably shitty to hear, because I know when I was hearing that from other people, I was like, oh, like, fuck you. Like, like, sorry, I don't know if I can curse. You can totally.
Good.
We're from Jersey.
All right. But you know what also really helped me is like physical activity. So like if I'm like at a heightened state of like anxiety or like emotional, turbulence, it's helpful to move my body. And so, and I learned that actually. I went to a Tibetan center in Manhattan, and this woman who was teaching, she was also a psychiatrist. So I was really excited to hear what she had to say. And she was like, just want you to know that like sometimes meditation can do so much, and it's powerful and beautiful and can help you in so many ways. But if you're at a really heightened state, like you need to move your body, and that's how it will help you calm down. So like doing yoga, doing tai chi, doing qigong, if you can. Otherwise, just like screaming into a pillow and like punching the pillow, not the wall, and like letting yourself like have that, and not judging, not judging your experience or how you're feeling. I hope that helped.
Yeah, no,
Absolutely.
for sure. My one of my first psychedelic ceremonies, that was their big message, was just be, and took me a couple of years, and I still battle with it daily. But it's like you said, sometimes you just have to be in a shitty mood and you have to let it work its way through. And like you said,
Yeah.
I didn't want that. I wanted the quick pill of just make it go away. But some days just being and sitting in the shit is the best thing you can do.
No mud, no lotus.
No, my Lois. Yep.
Yeah. I always
Okay.
get I get very quiet when I'm in those moods, and everyone around is always like, "You all right? You good? You good?" And I'm just like, "Yeah, I'm just don't want to talk today." Like I appreciate your concern and consideration about me, but like I've been dealing with this for a long time, and this is just how I do it. And I'm sorry that I'm not as talkative as I am at other times, but like I'm just going to be in it. And for the longest time, it was doing all the work and doing all these things. You kind of beat yourself up when you fall back into those days. And
Yeah.
then when you realize it, like, it's not going to be rainbows and puppy dogs, 365. There's going to be ups and downs. And sometimes it may be from a job or an audition, or, sometimes it could just be because you had some beers last night, or you had some gluten, at lunch or something, and
Mhm.
that can trigger that too. And it's okay. You just got to sit with it
Just ride it
sometimes.
through. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's wonderful. Like, and I always that just reminded me, I always take time for myself then when I'm like that, just so I'm not like, kind of attacking like anybody else. It's just like me and myself, and I'm not triggered by anyone, but like making sure to take care of myself when I'm feeling these ways. Like go away. I'm not taking any appointments. I'm not. It's okay to say no. Like I've learned that like real fast. Like if I need to cancel things, I cancel things. I just really take care of myself. Um, yeah, and it sounds like you're doing that too. So I think that's really wonderful. You know when it's time to not talk. And
Yeah, we're trying. We'll have to get you set up and connected with Kyle Buller. He runs Setting Sun Wellness, and it's kind of over in that West Jersey area. But him and his partner Joe Moore, that lives out here in Colorado with us, they studied under Stanislav Grof, who was the founder of holotropic breathwork, and so he does. Again, I don't know what's going on with the COVID situation and everything, but before he was running breath workshops in New Jersey.
Oh my gosh, please let me have that information. That would
Yeah.
be amazing. Yeah, I would love to. And I do want to have like someone with me, so that would be perfect. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah, for sure. Those guys run. It's called Psychedelics Today, and they have a website. They actually do some coursework for clinicians too, for therapists and clinicians, both using breath work and psychedelics. And they have
Amazing.
they have a podcast that's out there too, that they have some really awesome guests on as well. So we'll have
Oh,
Jimmy.
that sounds amazing. I wish I had something to write that down. What was it called again?
Psychedelics Today.
Psychedelics today. Okay, cool. Oh
Yeah.
man, thank you.
I'll send some links to the person I've been communicating with to get this podcast, and I'll send
Okay.
that over your way.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Yeah. So, being someone with some traumas and triggers, I know for myself, I'm a sensitive person. How do you have traumas and triggers, and then go do a horror movie and kind of cope? Like, how does that not affect you on the daily when you're shooting that?
Yeah, that's a really, really good question. Thanks for asking that. So I actually decided that I wasn't gonna do any more horror films. And so I got the script and I was reading it, and I didn't know that it was a psychological thriller slash horror until like, towards the end. And I was like, damn it, like I just said that I wasn't gonna do this anymore. And even my partner, he was like, oh man, Amy, like we just talked about this, you have to take care of yourself and like, have more positive things like surrounding yourself. And I was like, but I have to do this movie. Like it's so good. And I just love the script and I love the character. And I think since I was doing the EMDR and taking care of myself in so many ways, I was actually okay. And to be honest, on the entire time, even meeting the producers, Jimmy and Annie and John, the director, like all my interactions with them was so positive and so kind and nurturing that I wasn't afraid. I felt safe. I felt valued. I was a little worried at the ending scene where there's some shit that goes down. I was like, oh, but I'm like, I'm gonna meditate and it's gonna be okay. And I just kept telling myself it's gonna be okay, and it was okay. Um, so and for my scenes, I'm actually like, I feel like I'm like I am the more positive, joyful role in this film. So had I been, Brian's role, that I think that would have been a little tricky for me. Having kind of that psychological like breakdown as the movie goes on, and then full like psychotic. That would have been challenging for me, I think, at this point. But the fact that I kind of like brought the light and joy and into the film, that was like fine for me, because I was like, well, I'm not, and the entire time we were filming, it's funny because like we were all laughing and joking and having so much fun the entire time. So there was never a point throughout the entire thing from start to finish where anything felt very dark and heavy. So that was really great. I feel very fortunate, and I attribute that a lot to like the people. Everyone on set was just the kindest, nicest. Denver people are magic. Like I didn't want to leave. I like cried when I left. So that for me was fine. And at the end, I went to go talk to John, because Brian's a very good actor. He is a brilliant actor, and I was almost a little worried at the one scene, because I was like, he's like really into it, and he's like a method actor, and I'm like, getting a little nervous, and I went to go talk to John. He's like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I think I'm just like a little. And I'm like, you know what? No, I'm not even gonna put that out into the universe. Like everything's cool. I'm ready to do this. Like we're gonna rock this shit. And like we just did it. And like I didn't have a worry like again after that. So I think if it was another kind of situation that I had to act out, like it definitely would have been very challenging. I probably would have to pass out on it.
Do you mess with method acting at all?
I used to, like when I was younger, and I feel like it's just not necessary for me. I don't need to feel, because there was one point I was doing a play in New York City, and I had to be on stage the entire time, and it took place in the 1800s, and I it was called Female Transport, and we were on stage the entire time. So like we didn't get to leave the stage. Like even if I wasn't speaking, I had to be in this state of just this girl was just, you know, abused, and she's suicidal. She actually commits suicide like on a stage. And that really messed me up. And I was like, okay, I need to be in this all the time. And like feeling all that like throughout an entire course of a play. And then if you have to do it back to back, and if you have like, you know, where we have like the run through like with the rehearsal and the lights and everything, so like 3 times in a row, I would leave every day just feeling horrible, and I would cry, and I was like, I'm like, it's okay because like it's good for the character and it's good for the role, but like that's so unhealthy. Like you can't live like that, and it's not helpful to anyone. And so I realized, and especially with the meditating, I started to really realize, I'm like, oh, you don't need to put yourself in turmoil and have yourself suffer before you go out on stage or to film this thing, and stay in that space all day and all week while you're filming. That's so unhealthy. You can just meditate, and you know, and it kind of just like comes through organically. So I for me, it's not, you know, I'll do everything I can to like get in the space of the role, but I'm not gonna like go dark and like hurt myself in any way, you know. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, totally. I was just curious because you hear of you know, guys, I think Daniel Day-Lewis is probably one of the more famous people that you hear, that like when he was Abraham Lincoln, he was Abraham Lincoln, and or people don't respond on set when the camera's not rolling, when someone calls their name, and then you have to be like, hey, Abe, or whatever. So I was just curious what that's like and how that goes for people. And
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, for me, I just don't think it's necessary. You know, you can kind of turn that on and turn it off if you wanted to. Um, and like I was saying with the meditation, it's like it's like an extra, like it's like superpower, really. You can like go right into that flow state like pretty quickly. So I don't know. We'll see. Ask me in a couple of years though, and when I'm playing Abe Lincoln.
Do you follow any like techniques or methods? Do you have like the 7 questions or the 12 guideposts or anything like that that you use, or is it just kind of you figure out what the character is and you have your own way to get yourself in that zone?
Yeah, and like I know I keep saying meditation, but like really, it's like it's really been like a game changer for me, to be honest. I think I've used, so I went to Lee Strasberg, so I have dealt with like, you know, and learned, you know, sense memory and like method acting and, you know, all these different techniques. And then I went to T. Schreiber Studios in New York City, and they kind of pull from a lot of different teachers like all together. And so I kind of just picked and choose what worked for me. But honestly, you know, I learned my lines. I work with my acting coach. I do exercises that help me get into that space and help me say the words truthfully. Like for this role, I actually volunteered with a senior citizens. I helped her with her electronics through New York Cares, because my character Lisa is a caretaker, and she also volunteers at the senior citizen home on her free days. And I'm like, well, I don't know what that's like, so let me go. And yeah, so like I actually went and did that. So I mean, there are things that I will do just to make it so truthful and real for me and authentic, and like saying the lines, um, and you know, meditating, and you know, I'll work out and run while like doing my lines, and I feel like that really helps like get them into like my subconscious. And then when I get on set, it's kind of just like, you know, you meditate, you stretch. I feel like so open and free, and I feel like something's just kind of flowing through me that, you know, I don't even know what it is, if it's like the universe or God or like, you know, like what it is. I don't know how the words for it, but it kind of just like happens.
And I was always curious, you mentioned, you know, going out for a run and working on your lines. Is it something where you're focusing on specific scenes, or are you kind of going through the whole, like all of your lines leading into
Yeah.
production?
all of the lines I'll do. And maybe like one day I'll kind of just like bounce around with them if I'm feeling like a certain way, or if like an idea comes to me and I keep repeating the lines. Images will come to you sometimes when you do that, and ideas. But yeah, like and then what I'll also do sometimes is like if I'll say a line and it comes out and I'm like I'll make it into my own so that it really feels authentic. So like something I would actually really say is myself, Amy. Or I'll say like the subtext, or like, oh, this line, I'm like, oh, I really want this. Like I want to be loved. Like that's kind of like her main thing is like well, we all want to be loved, and she's just looking for this partner, and she's just so desperately wants to be loved. So I'll say like my intentions too sometimes out loud when I'm like running and like doing the line and then doing like the subtext or like the intention underneath it.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
We all want to be loved, but we got to figure out how to love ourselves first.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, hard. We don't learn these things growing up, but
No, we certainly don't.
So talking
Yeah,
about, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Talking about, different styles of acting and, how people get themselves in the zone. What was it like being in the 90s during this film shoot, going back to the 90s? Did you really feel like you were back in the 90s, or did you just feel like you're on set?
No, it felt like, these locations were like sick. They were like legit 90s. Everything in them was like Brandon Fryman, excuse me. He was a set director or set dresser. He did all the costuming. He was the production designer, and he set this set like just so like it was just brilliant, and everything like there was just so many details, everything. And even like this house actually was in a kind of like an abandoned like old house, so it like already had a lot of those things in it, and he kind of just like placed everything in a perfect way, and it just made me feel like I was like living that again. So I've lived through the 90s, and so I was so excited because like the nostalgia, the excitement, the like it was just like magic for me. And then when we actually filmed the scenes in the roller rink, the Aurora roller rink, that thing looks like it's straight out of 1990. Like it's just perfect. All the lights, like the carpeting, like the colors, the neon, it was just like I am back in 1990, and like the clothes that I'm wearing, I was so excited. Like I was so excited that I love the 90s.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool, seeing that and just knowing you got to recreate that and get into being that. I was born in '87, so 90s are totally my jam for sure. How long were you in Denver shooting for?
The first time I went out, I was there for a week. And it's really interesting because I wasn't out there for that long, and like our shoot days really weren't that long at all. And so they got like we did it like they're like a machine, the production. But I was there for a week for the first time, and then I actually got sick, so I had to come back again. So I came back again in that following February for another like maybe 2 or 3 days of filming.
Did you shoot in, was it 2019 you guys shot? Or,
It was 2018 in December.
okay.
And then the second time I went back was 2019 in like February, like the first week of February.
So how much did the COVID situation change? Did you guys know you were going to IFC when you were shooting, or did that kind of happen out of necessity?
Yeah, that happened. We found out, I don't know if like they just didn't tell us until then, but I'm pretty sure we all found out in just this past May. So that was very recent. That was obviously right in the middle of the pandemic, but it was a very, silver lining kind of thing for us because, there's so much suffering happening right now in the world, and for IFC to like pick us up then, it was just like, oh, thank God, some good news.
And what was it like watching the film when it came out, watching it on IFC, seeing yourself on there? I believe you said you were going to watch it with your family. How did they receive it? What was their reaction?
Yeah, we had like a outdoor theater set up, so we put a big production or projection and a screen, and with a real popcorn maker. So it was really fun and really special. And I had like eight family members come. My grandma came, and some cousins, my sisters were there, and my mom and my stepdad. And it was almost more special to watch, because I was really bummed, because, of course, like, this is my first film out in theaters, and like I can't even go to the theater. It's like, what kind of luck is that? But I was like, you know what? Like I said before, everything happens for a reason. And I actually got to watch it with my family. It was my first time watching it with all of them in my childhood backyard, where I was like putting on movies, doing my little home videos when I was a kid. And it just kind of was like a full circle moment for me. And it was awesome. I was like really proud of myself, actually. Normally, like, I'm really like, oh God, like watching myself on screen is like really uncomfortable. But I think I had forgotten a lot of the scenes and a lot of the lines that I said, because it's been quite some time. And so I was just like really excited. But it's a little uncomfortable to watch with your family, especially your Grammy, with some of those scenes. I said sorry like 3 or 4 times. I was like, sorry guys, oh my God. And they would just laugh, and they're fine. Like, my parents watch with my sister, they watched the Game of Thrones, and they're like, brother having sex with a sister. So I'm like, they're fine. But yeah, it was really wild. And then the following day, I went to a drive-in theater, Fair Oaks Drive-In in New York State, because it was only an hour away. So I was like, oh my gosh, like, we get to see it in the drive-in theater, which is so cool. Because I grew up watching films in the drive-in theater. I saw Jurassic Park there. I saw Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Like, that's my heart. And so I got to go up that day and watch when my dad's side came and some friends. And it was just, again, like a full circle moment. And like, I liked the film even more the second time that I watched it, because I missed so many little details that they had done in the film. And I was like, that is brilliant. Like, I didn't even notice that before. And like, just like little tiny details that like, you wouldn't have really noticed. So yeah, it was just, I'm just really grateful and just so full of joy.
And if there's one positive that may come from COVID, it's we might get drive-in theaters back.
Yeah, I'm so for that. I'm so excited.
Totally.
Yeah, because like, honestly, there's never a thought in my mind I ever thought that I would see myself in a drive-in movie theater, because they were like kind of non-existent anymore. Yeah. But so this really like brought it back, and it was full circle, because I was a little kid watching those movies thinking like, oh, one day like I want to see my big head on that screen, and like I got to do it. So
do you prefer the big screen over like plays and stuff like that? Yeah,
for sure. I mean, plays are cool too. Like, there's a cool energy that you get with a live audience that you can't replicate. But there's nothing better than just being on set and like just that magic of it all. It's just so fascinating to me, and coming together with all these people, and everyone's so good at what they do. And it's just that for me is like what I really want, is just to do film work.
Do you have a preferred genre?
I like weird, like dystopian sci-fi kind of stuff. I I love the Hunger Games. I love, like, that's the kind of film like I wish I could have been in. I wish I could have been Jennifer Lawrence in the Hunger Games, kicking ass. And I love, I like Alter Carbon. I like Umbrella Academy. I like superhero stuff too. So that's kind of my thing. I'm really like, I gravitate towards kind of sci-fi dystopian kind of worlds, and that's what excites me. So I feel like I'm kind of nerdy in that way, but.
Are you strictly an actor? Do you dabble in writing, production, anything like that?
Yeah, so I would help when I was back when before COVID, I have a couple groups of filmmaker friends in Jersey City and in Manhattan too. And so I would always try to help them in any way I could, whether I was acting or like helping them out on set by doing whatever, like helping with casting, or, I've helped AD in a short film. I've helped produce a couple short films. And then my sister actually is, she's a film editor. Her name is Veronica. And she's actually going to get her master's right now at the Fierstein school in Brooklyn, and she's getting her master's in film directing. And so I've helped her with like all her stuff. Like I've done like prop master, I've done like, you know, costuming, or helped with the actors and helping with sound. And so, I mean, it's all fun. Like I would rather act, obviously, but I think eventually I would love to produce. And I started to write my own web series. I had this idea in my head, and it was like the sci-fi dystopian kind of world with, you know, some themes of like mental illness. And I finally sat down to write this film or web series last year, and I got like to 2 episodes and I kind of stopped. So I need to like kind of pick that up, but I want to wait till I feel inspired to do it again. But I wanted to write that, and then also, you know, star in it, and then have maybe my sister direct, because she's a really phenomenal director. So we'll see. I'm open to all of the film world.
And you mentioned, you know, not being inspired to write what you were writing at that particular time. Do you have like a writing process? Like, do you try to write daily, or is it one of those things when you feel it, you do it and you don't force it?
Yeah, I don't like to force anything, because then it just doesn't feel good, you know, like I want it to feel good. And I do write, but I write more like a gratitude journal every night. So I write like everything that I'm grateful for. If I'm having, you know, like a bad day, like we were talking about earlier, I will like free associate and kind of just like write out everything that I'm feeling. I used to do, there's this book, I think it's called The Artist's Way, and she recommended doing, it's called The Morning Pages, where like you wake up and you kind of just like free write everything. Like if you had a bad dream, however you're feeling, and you have to write like, I think it's like 3 or 6 pages even of just like nonstop. Even if you have nothing to say, you just like repeat the same sentence over and over and over, just to like get all kind of that crap out of you. And so you could, and then actually it's really freeing actually, because you can move forward. And, you know, a lot of that crap that's like circulating in your mind, or like bad dreams, are like kind of out of your head and onto the page. But her thinking was, you know, you don't look at them, and then come like 6 months down the road, then you can look back, and people have been able to like use their, you know, writings for like scripts or films. So that's really fascinating. I kind of stopped that though. I'm pretty lazy. I get on like a thing where I do it for like a week or 2, and then I just like completely stop. So yeah, like if I have an idea like pop into my mind about it, before I was getting these ideas that were like invasive, and I was like, all right, I gotta write this down, because it's like keeps coming in my head. It's really freaking annoying. But that hasn't happened lately, so I'm gonna wait until, you know, I have more, I guess, inspiration.
And I know the world is locked down right now, so, you know, shooting movies is not the same. Do you have anything coming up, or no, as of right now?
No, not right now. No, I mean that can all change within a second, of course, but you know, with everything going on, I don't even know like if I would. I don't know. It's just hard to say like if I would even want to be on set at this moment. Um, I heard that a lot of people have started production again and been getting sick, so it's a little scary. I don't know if you heard about. I think it was Robert Pattinson. I don't know if this was like just like gossip, but they started filming the Batman again, and he got COVID. Did you hear that?
No.
I have not.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, I don't know, but yeah, as of now, I have nothing going on, but I'm okay with it.
Well, you got your meditation practice. Teaching.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I teach that too. So I have a lot of things that bring me joy in like my day-to-day life, and like I'm still, you know, doing that, which is super fulfilling and rewarding. So I have a lot of things that bring me joy, and not just filming. Thank God.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to just identify as one. You know, that was a struggle for Jimmy and I at times. You know, you identify as an athlete, and then you get hurt, and your whole world kind of comes in on you. You know, so I'm sure the same thing. Like as an actress or actor, you know, if you don't have other things, or you only identify as that one thing, it can turn you on your head for a minute.
No, absolutely. Yeah, and that's so heartbreaking. So I'm sorry that that happened to you guys too. But no, it happens to a lot of us, and I think that's the thing. That's the beauty of meditation. It's helped me, and like doing the self-love is that, you can't just, you have to find other things that bring you joy on a day-to-day basis, or else you're just not going to survive, or I'm not going to survive anyway.
You got anything before we start rapid fire, or you want to go in rapid fire?
Well, I guess I would be remiss if I didn't ask about the mace hanging behind you in the wall.
Oh my God, you guys. That's so funny. I forgot. Well, how could I forget? So I'm in like my stepdad's like study. It's like this man cave, but now like it's my sister's. So I have that. There's like, can I like show you real quick, or you guys have to go?
Yeah.
No, we're good.
Legit like swords.
Damn.
What?
There's like the Game of Thrones thing. I don't even know what that is.
Okay.
It's like a cavern of like a dungeon of like weapons. I don't know if you can see it. Am I like?
Yeah. So did that come about because of the Game of Thrones, or was that something that?
I think so. Yeah. I never really asked why, but like my sister would just, there's actually the Game of Thrones sword over there too. So I'm pretty sure that's where it came about. But I think my stepdad really liked the show, and he like read all the books, and so my sister would just like get him all these like things for like birthdays and Christmas and stuff.
Cool.
That's a little creepy. Like I'm glad that you brought it up, because you're like, what the hell is this psychopath like?
Well, I saw the map too, so I just assumed it was like historical of some sort.
Yeah.
Or, medieval.
All right, cool. Wait, what is rapid fire? I'm scared.
And we have a list of certain questions we ask every guest, kind of get their take. And the first one I'm going to ask you, it's going to be the toughest question I ask all day. But being that you're from New Jersey, is it Taylor ham or pork roll?
Oh my God, you're gonna hate me. I don't like either. I think they're gross.
Okay, no, that's fine.
But if you did like it, which would it be?
I think pork roll.
Thank you.
Sorry, everyone who likes pork roll. People are like shame me for that. They're like, oh, how dare you? Like, you don't like pork roll? I don't know. Sorry, I don't like it.
Are you plant-based or vegetarian, or are you just not like pork roll?
No, I just never liked it. It kind of like skeeved me out for like that, and like hot dogs like always grossed me out. I have like this biology teacher who would like shame on like these kinds of like processed meats, so it grossed me out forever, and so like now I just can't even eat them. But I do gluten dairy free, but I still eat meat. Yeah, but I always feel bad when I eat meat, like I really do, and it makes me feel like I'm a kind of a bad person. So I'm attending to shift over to vegetarian, trying.
Yeah, it's kind of where we're at.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel
much better if I was hunting and claiming the meat on my own, but going through the process of going to the grocery store, that sort of stuff, I feel the same way. I feel bad when I have it. Like it's tough to explain what the feeling is, but I just know that I probably should be eating more plants.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I love animals so much, and so it's like I just feel like I'm a hypocrite, and I just feel bad.
So I saw you were drinking some tea. Are you just a tea drinker, or do you drink coffee as well?
I do decaf because I have such bad anxiety. Like I had to force to not. I like could not drink coffee anymore. Like I was literally like, I felt like my heart was gonna explode. So since New Year's, I haven't drank caffeine. So I'll do decaf coffee though. Because I just like the taste so much, but I do like tea too, so both.
When you do drink your decaf coffee, you're having a latte, a cappuccino, or just straight black coffee?
No, I just like put oat milk in it because I really like Oatly oat milk, and it kind of is like cream to me. So
I got a carton in the refrigerator.
Yeah, it's so good. I love it.
Yeah, we've had a couple people that have come on and said that the oat milk latte is their jam, and since then we've kind of switched over to the oat milk a little bit.
Yeah, it's really good. I use it in smoothies too, and I just because I can't do milk. I'm lactose intolerant ever since I was a kid, so it's like just as good.
Yeah.
I'm like, what a time to be alive. Well, huh?
Do you have a favorite tea brand?
You know what I
Or
have?
flavor?
Yeah, I just drank. So that's funny because I actually went to Boulder and went to the tea factory there. So Celestial Seasonings.
Yep.
Yeah, so I went there, but this one's I don't know what it's called, Organic India, but this one's Tulsi. Oh, it's Tulsi, turmeric ginger,
Right on.
turmeric ginger. Yeah,
Cool.
it's like spicy and it kind of like burns your throat, and it's really good. Makes your stomach feel pretty good too.
Yeah.
So I know you meditate daily, but do you have a daily practice, daily ritual besides the meditation, or is that your daily ritual?
I do this almost every day. I go for mantra or affirmation walks. So I'll take a nice long walk for like a half an hour, and this is like what kept me going throughout the pandemic, living in the city too throughout all this, and like being alone and not being able to see anybody. Like this was the only thing that like kept me like sane. So I'll go out, like I'll listen to like meditation means like soothing music, and I'll just repeat out loud. It was kind of cool because like I had the mask on, so I could like say them out loud and no one would know that I was like talking to myself. But I would like say these like positive affirmations that would make me feel really good. And no matter how bad of a mood I'm in, if I do that for 10 minutes, within 10 minutes, I'm like, I already feel like so much better. So I do try to do that every day. I think that's it. I should probably work out every day, but I don't. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And I listen to a trauma sleep thing every night before I go to sleep too. Oh yeah, so I write the gratitude journal before I go to sleep, and then I have this. It's like healing trauma with this sleep meditation, and they teach you this breathing exercise. And I don't sleep well at all, but like this has helped me sleep like through the night without having like really bad nightmares. And they teach you how to do this certain breath where you like breathe in for 4 through your nose, hold it for like a moment, and then you hum. And I guess that stimulates the vagus nerve and helps calm your nervous system down. So you do that for a little while, and then she repeats these affirmations like I am safe while you fall asleep. And every time I'm listening to that, I just get like this really great sleep. So for me, that's like a miracle. So I do that too every night, almost every night.
Do you have a favorite mantra or affirmation?
Yeah, there's one I say when something wonderful is about to happen. And I also say every day in every way, my life gets better and better. And it really is. It's like it's like real, you know? And I feel like with affirmations, it's kind of like, you might not believe them at first, but then like the more you say them on a regular basis, like you actually do start to believe them. Like it's pretty awesome. The something wonderful is about to happen. I went away last year this time for a month by myself to Italy. And I saw it when I was in a coffee shop. I saw it, they had like painted on the wall, and I was like, oh, this is a beautiful, I really like this. This is like so inspiring. Like, something wonderful is about to happen. What a wonderful thing to think on a regular basis, And then I had gone to Barcelona, and when I walked out of the place that I was staying at, I saw this sign, and it said the same exact quote. It said something wonderful was about to happen. I was like, oh my God, this is a sign. Like, so I make sure that I have that on like a Post-it note, no matter where I am. When I wake up, it's like the first thing that I read in the morning. And if I'm feeling kind of shitty, I'll just repeat that over and over. And chances are, like it's like something wonderful does always happen. So
I'm going to
how
add
about
that
you
to my
guys?
repertoire.
Yeah, what is your favorite? I want to hear yours.
So you
go
go
ahead,
first. My go-to mantra is I am love and awareness. That's a Ram Dass. And if I'm ever just kind of spinning and can't get back, I say, I am here, I am now, everywhere is here, everywhere is now.
I love that. That's beautiful. Is that Ram Dass as well?
I don't know if I made that up. I think I did, but
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Oh, beautiful, brilliant.
He says that a lot.
Yeah, I love that.
um, before I get into mine, was there a specific app that you use for the sleep?
Oh, that was on YouTube actually. If you want
Okay.
me to try to find it, I can. Do you want me to say that on air, or do you want me to try to find it and give it to you later?
Yeah, you could do it later. I'm just always curious. I like to. I have difficulty sleeping, so I'm always looking for new things to try out or explore. So yeah, later's
Yeah, yeah.
fine.
Yeah, I'll
For
send that to you guys.
me, I mean, daily I do from Steve Maxwell, the guy that had the one on the board. It's today is the first day of the rest of my life. Um, today's the first day of my life. Today's the first day of the rest of my life. Only good comes to me. Only good comes from me.
Mm.
I am the son of the universe with all the powers of the universe. Money flows to me in great abundance like avalanches.
Oh wow, I love that one. Yeah. I've
And
been
then,
recently doing more money ones too, and like they're kind of like it's starting to like come true. I'm like, whoa, money's like flowing to me easily and effortlessly. And it actually is.
yeah.
That's
And then,
awesome.
have you ever heard of the seed prayer?
No, I
So
don't think so.
this was a medium that I met, and she told me about this. That anytime you like, say you're at the coffee shop and you throw your change in or a dollar, or you tip someone, um, she told me to say, uh, may this bring you health, wealth, and happiness, and may it return to me tenfold. Amen, amen,
Mm.
amen. So when I remember that one, I do that one, but I really haven't been going to the coffee shop nearly as much before all this. I also do a Napoleon Hill affirmation. And then typically when I'm running, because I do ultra marathons,
Uh-huh.
I do one that is moment to moment, step by step, I get better and better.
That's amazing. Oh, yeah, I saw that you guys were into. Is that just? Are you the only one that runs, or does also you both do the marathons?
Richie's more into, going out doing races. He's a coach. It's his thing. I do it for fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I saw on your website. That's pretty awesome. And you guys coach people too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so then do you have any, what kind of music are you listening to now? Do you have any podcast or audio books or books that you're reading?
So I'm reading Creating. I just said this the other day too. Creating Money. Yeah, Creating Money. Um, and Abundance. I cannot for the life of me remember the authors, but it's a really wonderful book, and it's just about like creating and attracting. It's kind of like the law of attraction. They called it magnetizing. I don't know if have you ever heard of this book before?
No.
Yeah. So Creating Money. I wish I could remember the names of the authors, but it's really, really, it's a beautiful book. And it just teaches you how you can magnetize basically anything, people, relationships, people that can help you. You can magnetize that into your life, money, abundance, items, objects. And at the end of the chapters, they have like little meditation guides. So they write out the entire meditation that you can follow and do. And so that's what I'm working on now, and it's really amazing, and it's just so positive, and it just makes you feel so good. So I'm reading that, and let's see, what else am I listening? So I listen to a lot of like meditation music. I listen to Deuter. It's Deuter, I think, and then also Liquid Mind Radio. And that is basically all I listen to be honest. Every once in a while, like in the car, I'll put on like today I was listening to like 90s like R&B, and I was like really excited to that's like what I grew up listening to. So but mostly I listen to meditation, like I like need to be soothed at all times. So and I haven't been really listening to a lot of podcasts, but lately, because I've been on a few this past week, I've been like listening to the podcast, And I didn't realize that I actually enjoyed listening to podcasts. So I might try to get into that now. I listened to Lewis Howe. Is it Lewis Howe's?
Yep.
A couple of his at one point. I also really like to listen to, I've done this probably 3 or 4 times, Dr. Wayne Dyer, Manifesting Your Destiny. I've listened to that. It's like 6-hour-long videos on YouTube for free. And he teaches you a sound meditation at the end that really feels so good. It's like, you do the Om sound, and it's like you have to do it for a certain amount of time, and do that in the morning while oh no, that's the ah sound, sorry. So you do ah, and then you like get quieter and quieter, and then you do it silently, and you do this over the course of like I think 17 minutes, and then at night you think about everything you're grateful for, and you do the Om, you chant the Om out loud, and then getting quieter. But it just feels so good because you can feel the vibrations vibrating in your skull, and you focus on the third eye point. And to me, that's really soothing, especially when I'm feeling very overactive and like overly sensitive and anxious, because it's like something to really focus your mind on, like the Om, instead of just being mindful. It's a little more active. So I really appreciate that. And then he kind of gives some principles about like how to live your life, and like and basically that you can manifest whatever you want by doing these certain living these certain principles. So I love listening to that. Highly recommend it. It's just so peaceful, and like it's like pumping yourself full of joy. So, and he's like a really cool dude. And I think that's it.
Cool.
I picked up The Magic again. I had not The Magic, The Secret. And and that's such like an easy, fun read. So I'll like pick that up and read like a chapter or two every once in a while. It's just like a nice reminder. It's kind of like Creating Money too. It's like they're very similar in that way. It's fascinating.
Yeah. Have you ever messed with binaural beats at all?
Yeah, so I've been getting into that actually. So I'll listen to that like while I'm working throughout the day. I'm just doing like work, like reaching out to people for meditation jobs, or doing that kind of like boring kind of work. I'll listen to that, and I actually really like it a lot. And sound baths I like too.
Cool.
So one suggestion, since you said you're kind of getting into podcasts, I know you're a fan of the Law of Attraction. Esther Hicks has a daily.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she has a daily one she puts out called Abraham Hicks New, and it's pretty much just like anywhere between 10 minutes to 30 minutes of one of her speeches. I listen to it. I love her. I love the message. So yeah, definitely check that out.
Yeah, thank you so much. I actually listened to her Rampage this morning when I woke up. It's like 10 minutes to raise your vibration, I think it's called, on YouTube. But it really makes you feel good. She starts by saying like, today's a really good day. It's a really good morning. And I'm like, yeah, it is, Esther. Thanks. Like, this is so great. So that's awesome. And so she actually has like a podcast.
Well, it's just her speeches, so it's not like she's sitting down talking with people. It's just, whatever conference or whatever she's done, they have them record it, and they just take certain bits and pieces. And one of my rules, since the whole COVID situation has happened and stuff's getting chaotic, I try, if I feel like I'm getting too deep or getting too inundated with too much bullshit, I'll either listen to a Ram Dass podcast or Esther Hicks, Abraham Hicks podcast, just to kind of put myself in that zone.
Yeah, wow, we're on the same wavelength with you guys.
Well, we have a rule for every 3 conspiracy podcasts that I listen to, I have to listen to one Ram Dass podcast, because otherwise I'm a little too crazy to deal with. So Jimmy requested that I throw some Ram Dass into the daily and get it back into the rotation.
Oh, that's a good deal. What a good brother.
I try. So, Amy, do you have anything you want to tell the fans about Rent-A-Pal that we might have not spoke about?
Well, gosh, let me think. I'm always trying to figure out like what I can say and like what I can't. Well, just that we had like, just that I mean, I just can't rave enough. And I know I've probably already said this, but how creative and brilliant every single person was on that set. And I think that's what made it just so special and go so far, is because we all kind of had these synchronicities, like talking to all the other crew and talking to the other castmates. We all had these like crazy synchronistic sort of experiences in dealing with this film. And I knew right that even from like having my own, I just knew that was something really special that was going to be happening, and that, you know, it was very magical. And yeah, like we just had so much fun and we just laughed. And working with John, he's just like such a creative, amazing dude. And I'm just so happy to have that Denver family, even though you guys are far away. I just like have them all in my heart. And yeah, I'm really proud of it. And yeah, I don't even know what else to say. Yeah.
Go watch it. That's what you gotta say.
Yeah, go watch it. Yeah, I mean, I don't need, yeah, besides like pimping it out, like, which I kind of don't want to do, but I guess, yeah, thanks. Go watch it. Yeah, it's cool. It's exciting. It's, it's very sad. It's a little heartbreaking too. Like there's some scenes where I actually cried, and I don't know if you guys got a chance to watch it yet, but
Not.
it's heartbreaking, and it's like so relevant to what's happening right now too. And with the whole, theme of like loneliness and mental illness, it's just, we all have been like dealing with so much of that, I think especially with COVID. So I think a lot of people can relate to it. So yeah, go watch it. And let me know how you like it.
That Creating Money was Sonia Roman. Is that the book?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Perfect.
it. Yeah. Yeah, and it's cool because she uses it's her and a man that teamed up to write it together. But they both are, it's almost like Esther Hicks, where she channels or I don't know if that's the right
Abraham.
word. Yeah. So they channel their spirit guides through the writing in this, and like through one's like an energy healer, and the one well, anyway, you'll have to read it, but yeah, they like channel these spiritual beings to write this book and do like the meditation. So it's really fascinating. I hope you like it.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out.
You'll have to let me know if you how you like it.
I will, definitely.
Amy, thank you so much for taking time and hopping on the line with us today. It was an honor and a pleasure, and best of luck. And thank you for being so open and transparent with your story and your struggle and just being a rock star. So thank you so much.
Oh man, thank you so much. I same to you guys. You guys are my people. I had such a good time, and it was such a joy to be able to talk about all these things with you guys, truly. And it's kind of interesting because you do these interviews with people you've never met before that you don't know, but it's like I feel like I know you guys, and it was just really special. So thank you so much for having me. It's truly an honor.
Absolutely, we appreciate it. It was great. If you have any socials where people can contact you or find out more about your meditation teachings and stuff like that, we still have a lot of fans and friends and family in New Jersey, and we're always trying to hip some people to be a little bit more woo, especially down at the shore. So we'd love to promote any of that stuff. Yeah, exactly. We fist pump hard. We don't we don't pump our gas. We pump our fists. That's the Jersey motto.
I just snorted. Yeah, thank you. So you can find me on Instagram at Amy Rutledge 443. That's AMY, and then Rutledge is RUTLEDGE 443. And then my Twitter, I just started using Twitter, so I'm still getting used to it. It's a little difficult for me, but it's Amy M. Rutledge is my Twitter handle. My meditation website is meditatewithamy.com. And that actually has a couple free resources. So I have 2 audio meditations on there, and also a video meditation as well. And I'll put up, you can join my mailing list if anyone wants to meditate with me. I do like a weekly class on there. And I'm on Facebook as Amy Rutledge Actor. And that's all I got.
Sweet. Well, we're gonna get you that Airey Bros bump, and so
Yeah, thank you so
you
much.
might get some Guidos hitting you up about meditation, but that's all right.
So, I hope so. I'll be so excited.
Yeah. Sweet. Well, Amy, it was an honor and a pleasure to chat with you this evening. And yeah, like you said, it's great to be able to connect and talk about these topics. And yeah, best of luck to you. And hopefully we'll get back to doing regular production and we can get you on the big screen some more.
Hell yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, please keep in touch. I'd love to follow you guys and see how your journey is going too. It's so interesting what you do. So thanks for sharing your light with the world.
Thank you. You too. Have a great night.
All right. Yeah, you too. Many blessings. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye.